Mike, when it comes to building blended learning environments, is there an idea or framework that you like to use?
There is a few, but the one that has stuck with me forever, and once I read it, there was no going back. Was there's this fantastic book by I'll put it in the resources. Jared Stein and Charles Graham, and it's called Essentials for Blended Learning. And I read that book, and in that book, they introduced me to the idea of what I call the 6 P's of blended learning: preparation, pace, personalization, participation, personal interaction, and personalization. I'll put those into post too. But what was so fantastic for me when I started thinking about blended learning from those 6 P's is that I could take something now tangible like prep, and I could look at preparation and see, okay, how is it done in a synchronous setting? What do teachers do in a synchronous space to prep their students? And what does it look like in an asynchronous setting? And now I'm going toward the blend. So what I'm able to do is look at strengths and limitations of these 6 P's and almost just pull out the strengths of either and put those into a blended environment. So when I got to start to think that way, like what does place look like asynchronously? Looks a lot different than the a classroom at 4:45 that has its strengths, but the cyberspace has its strengths for place. When I was able to see those 6 P's and see the strengths and limitations and apply them to a blended course, it was like magic now, or music with all these notes. Like I could mix and match. I could think about creating a specific blended environment for a particular teacher teaching a particular topic with a particular number of students. Like it all becomes notes that I could put together in a very unique way for this one teacher. So that opened my mind up to all kind of things. And the funny thing about when I think back to that book is I've created a lot of assignments and projects for teachers to use in their blended courses, but they didn't come from that book. That book doesn't lay out all the different projects and assignments you could make. It did a lot more than that. It just laid the groundwork for instructional designers like myself to think about the 6 P's, think about what they look like in a synchronous space or cyberspace, and then I came up with my own idea. So that's the genius of the book. That's why I think the book is great, because it didn't give me any prescriptive uh, things to do. It opened my mind and I came up with the ideas. So I'm a big proponent of that book, and I'll put it in the resources section of this post.
I would have to agree with your recommendation because I know one of the classes that I had the opportunity to have you as a faculty, you definitely touched on it. So, and I found it to be extremely helpful.